Alright, hello and welcome back. I kind of got a special request for today. Um, Zero clue if this is going to be live or just commentary. But we got Vector, CP7, Zany Rainy, and where's Polly? And Polly requested requested me to record this one. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. I'm forcing myself to play this game today because I'm off work early. I'm feeling pretty good. I had some like Dunkin' for breakfast, not really the best to eat, but unfortunately where I'm living right now, I'm eating out like daily, like every day. It's not good, but we're kind of supplementing that. We got Factor, and I have been eating a lot of oatmeal for breakfast, usually with berries. Exercising a bit more regularly now that the weather's quote-unquote better. In reality, it's actually not nearly as good as it could be. See, we can grab some fairy types here. I'm also thinking, do I want to evolve breaks in here just in case? Because we can kind of recover from that, but we don't have any items. So if we don't have any items for a strong board, honestly, it's not something that needs to be considered. I think we could just get away with it. Okay, so there's the magnet. Let's go ahead and hit the Evo. So that's good for fire. We got another fire unit, and that's the choice scarf for fairy already done. We don't have any other fire types though. So again, if I want a strong board, it would need to be a fire 4 board. But at the very least, we could just have breaks and hold, and then maybe we could play fire 2 with Litwick and breaks in it, and at least have that going for us. Everything else here, I mean, obviously, oh look, you can play Marsh Stomp. Yeah, I know. But we are dealing with some considerably good items here. And ground, I mean, the offensive items for ground we don't really have right now. So that's one tier. Usually with tier, I don't think there's much that we would want to do with that. But we can go ahead and grab this for a Morello for later, because fairy special damage applies Morello. And then that plus choice scarf is going to be a really good combo as well. We have 13 gold here. I think we'll just go with fire 2 and just throw Impidimp in there to die, because there's nothing else we could really do with that. Then we'll go fairy 2, and if we can collect up 2 other fire units, we'll start off with fire 4. We aren't in the Cleffa region, so Jigglypuff is expected at level 4, so it's fine if we don't have a baby open. We'll just play for HP, try to keep as much HP as possible. I'm trying to be a lot more flexible with my gameplay this patch, because I want to play mainly one kind of comp. And so, okay, well, sadly the positioning of a 2 range versus 3 range unit throws me right in the middle of combat, but we did get a kill. That's kind of all we care about right now. We also have Nerf already in the lobby. This guy always plays Baby 7, and by always I mean I've played him like 2 or 3 times in the past like weekend, and it's Baby 7 every time. So we're looking for either 4 fairy or 4 fire. Okay, we do need this item component, so there we go. There we go. And then, unfortunately, this is a little awkward. So we can do something like this, perhaps, and have breaks and walk up a little bit, but not too much. I hope that makes sense. Alright, and we do have 3 fairies. Well, pivoting to fairy, because fire 4 is going to be way stronger, of course. We're going to go ahead and put the other magnet on Breaksin, since we're not going to be on fire forever. And we'll play fire 4 even 2 for these first 2 rounds. We'll just try and play to sustain as much HP for late game, because that is something that I usually forfeit. And I think we're in a decent spot right now with fire 4, just to get a couple of kills. Unfortunately, this guy's playing dark. But here's the great part. We have the choice scarf, so we're hitting everything that's attacking me. And if this guy commits to dark, Zany, if you commit to dark, you're about to get the Certified Fairy special. So I always look forward to seeing that. One of my recent games, we ended up with only like 6 players in the lobby, but because I was maining fairy and they wanted to try and play dark with the shiny Magikarp and other stuff that we got early, they ended up actually suffering immensely for that. Now, Magby would be another cool pickup here. Obviously, somebody's looking at this and saying, dude, you have like a baby 5, baby 7 opportunity. We don't play that here. Okay, not because it's cringe, but because what I'm doing right now is just, it's just way better, right? We just won a round, we're still at 95 HP. We don't have to spend any gold, and we're gonna get our fairy units online fairly healthily this game. So another build that I like to do here, okay. So Vector's also got the babies out, nice. Another thing that we like to do here, if I get like Azelf or something, I can try and put these items on like a Ralts Curlia later. Curlia doesn't have like the best ratios, sure, but with Pokénomicon there's actually a lot of damage with Psychic, buffing it up. Okay, we hit Floette and we hit another Impidimp, so we're gonna lock. We don't care about this board that much. Maybe the 1 cost, but we don't want to invest too heavily on 2 costs. We want to get the full recall on this. And 4 Fairy, fun fact, kind of always beats Gyarados. I don't think I've had too many opportunities or like boards with 4 Fairies where it just straight up loses. It just hasn't happened. So I'm feeling pretty confident in beating Gyarados, even with a Azurill. Does a lot of damage with the fairy damage. And if I could just get the Charcoal for Punching Glove, we'll have Biss for fairy. Now fighting is obviously not the best matchup for something auto attack heavy like this, but we're doing good damage and it looks like we're gonna have a decent... Ooh, wait, do we win this? Oh no, I'm burned. Wow, we actually won that with Fire 4. We had an advantage there. And we can add Joltik. Joltik's pretty safe pick. If you're playing Electric doesn't have the biggest pool, so anything helps. But we have 3 people playing Baby right now, which also helps us sustain early. We don't really care. If they get Baby 7, they get Baby 7. It's not a big deal. Yeah. This is looking like a Baby 7. Obviously, Artie's going Baby 7, and Zany. Guys, how you gonna do this? How you guys gonna do this to me, man? That's crazy. Alright, so we have 3 Baby 7 players in the lobby. It's fine, it's fine. If they all play Baby 7, that just means I get to be healthy in top 4 for longer. And how many of them have we hit? I think we hit 2 of them, actually. Yeah, this is the perfect time to play a strong board. Because yeah, sure, they might get something crazy late game, but it stops us from losing to the people with better boards than me. Because I'm hitting babies instead. Wait, the burn. Come on. Oh, that was so close. That ult cast probably would have killed. Alright, so now we can just sell all this. This is all gone. We don't need it anymore. By that, throw in 4 fairy types, and we should be good. And we can put all the items on Azurill for now. Azurill does just fine with them. And this should be a pretty easy win. We could roll for some early fairy. Cool. Sell these. Cool. Alright, so with this tier, I mean, we could probably try and make a defensive item. We could probably start defensive itemization now. Alright, and we should be doing a lot of damage. Every auto attack dealing special, and then all of a sudden, Gyarados' HP is just gone. We love that. That's what we love to see. Okay, that's not a bad item. Now, yeah, Fairy is not the most defensive comp for sure, but we can make do as long as our damage is high. Oh, look at that. Look at all the fairies we're hitting before we're even leveling up. Alright, we got a couple fairy portals in front of us. There's a baby portal. We're going to want to contest the baby portal because there's a lot of people that want that. Most likely. Now, let's see. Okay, looks like we have 1 pivot. And already just played out the Gyarados fight. Alright, no one lost to Gyarados as well. Ooh, we got Mawile again? That's tough. That is tough. What do we do about this? Okay, there is something wild that I can try here. I do like the idea of Fairy Tyrogue because it's pretty tanky as a Pokemon. But with Mawile, we really don't have many items right now. I'm not sure if we can fully itemize the Mawile, but it's the easier option, obviously, so we'll try that instead. We'll see if we can get a good item combination for this Pokemon. And we already have 6 fairies. We can sell the Impidimp. I don't like that Pokemon too much just because it's Dark type. and that makes things a lot harder. Let's see, we have Poly on ground, which makes sense why he's streaking so hard. Shout out to anyone based enough to play ground on every pack. Unfortunately, got to my Azura a little early there, so we don't necessarily win it, but it's very close, and that's really all we need. Okay, in terms of items, Cubone's not a dangerous ad, but Ninkata is if someone's playing Bug, but I don't think anyone is. The problem is, if Vikavoult's in play, which it is, that makes it a dangerous Pokemon, so we're not going to add that one, actually. We gotta definitely take into consideration the baby pool. We can sell this for 4, we can hit 6, throw in our 6th Pokemon. I mean, this is gonna happen anyways, right? So let's just play by range. And 6 fairies are a pretty good breaking point from my experience this patch. You often will win more rounds than if you're stuck on fairy 4. I'm not going to buy into a reroll strat. Okay, well, he's still baby 7ing. So we don't really get to show off the power of the fairy 6 buff, but there we go. You know, something happened. Now, in this position with Mawile, the best case scenario is probably hitting Xerneas so that we have an easy transition on our back line. If we don't hit Xerneas, we can probably just play Curlia, like I said before. Okay, nice. We got a second steel type really early here. Now we either want to complete the Muscle Band or the Shell Bell. If we can do one of those, then we're good. And unfortunately, both of those are taken. So we're going to go ahead and grab this. Mana items aren't that bad. Since I don't have gold for the... Okay, hold on. We got to think here. Alright, we'll go down to 49 and hopefully win this next fight. That's kind of the win con there. Now, we're going to replace Togepi here because Tinkatink's going to increase our team's damage. That will hopefully get us the win on this next round because it's kind of necessary. We can actually sell the Togepi if that doesn't pan out and maybe pick it up again later. And then in terms of what we're going to do with these items, we'll hold these. We'll hold these because there's a good chance that we get something good to pair with later, or we get a particular kind of legendary that might want a particular set of items. Again, like, we kind of want to just focus itemizing the Mawile. Okay, we have a Fire Ogerpon, Fire Team. This is pretty good for Fairy, because Fairy is pretty good at contesting in terms of these high damage comps. It's really defense that slows Fairy down, or just getting out damage, so that's pretty good. That's a pretty good round. Alright, we're going to put excess gold in. The goal is to hit 8 earlier rather than later. We're not going to do too much with our gold otherwise. If we can hit a Evo here on the Hatina, that would be great until late game, and then we can just slot it out, or slot out like the Pikachu for a potential Chansey or Magearna later. I think that's where we want to be. Just take a drink of water. Okay, we have another fairy comp. Huge. Like to see it. Unfortunately, RT10 is not itemized. Is it gonna matter? Okay, nothing's happening. Okay, well, nothing happened for a while. Okay. Alright. Still baby 7. He's got the Joltik. Let's see, Fairy 6, and then... I wish I could say what this is. I don't know what this comp's going to become yet. Alright, so that was unfortunate. Let's go ahead and... Nice, we hit it. So we'll sell the Togepi here. There's another Togepi in our shop. It's a nice way to save gold. We get the Evo. That'll make us a little stronger in the next round. We could have just locked, but it's fine. We hit the Mewtwo round. Sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself on that. Okay, so Pokédoll is a potential item here, and that wouldn't be bad on Mawile since it's frontlining for us. It's got really nice defenses. But we really would prefer something like this. So we'll go ahead and put that on you. We'll take the Evo just because, and we will lock you for next round. If we get a Florges, we get a Florges. I know someone might be thinking like Aqua Egg or Soul Dew on Florges. try and maximize that. But honestly, spellcasts aren't really the end of the world on a comp like this, which I think is why Floette fits in a lot better here, because it's, you know, compared to something like Water or Psychic, where you're really trying to get those ability casts out. A lot of fairies actually don't have the craziest ratios. I know Tinkatink here, you know, 100, 200, 400 is really nice. But in terms of applying the damage that we're trying to do, this is definitely more important. So we have a White Flute, a bunch of dark-ish units, and then we have Tyrogue. Very scary. Very scary comp here with all the extra units. He's got Gourmet in as well. So what is the main race? It's just Gourmet 3. Huh. With Hatch. Okay. Interesting. Alright. We can throw this in. Poniard. I mean, we could throw Poniard in for a bit. We have Steel. It's not really a bad idea. And we'll just roll once here. There's a Cleffa. Nice. I mean, we'll just throw Poniard in there for now. Because we're already at Fairy 6, and we do have Steel. So anything that it does right now would actually be a benefit to our team. And I can definitely make a green orb here later as well. I'm just kind of hoping that I can get away without slamming these items. Okay, we're doing a lot of damage to Infernape. But it just barely manages to get through with the fighting synergy. Fighting, I feel like fighting's very underrated in the meta. It always plays well into most comps outside of like maybe special damage. Okay, there's no charcoal on this carousel, so we can just go for this and we can make a Pokédoll for our tank later. Alright, just go straight into EXP there. We want to be level 8 at this point, so whatever HP we lose is what we lose. Alright, so we can do this, and then this. Probably should have just put this on Poniard since we have it. But the goal here... Let me do some repositioning here. So the goal here would be to put these on a Chansey later. And then we should lock the Hatena in our shop, because we might need that for a Psychic 2 if we don't get anything good here. But I'm really concerned about my management this patch. It feels like I'm not managing my econ all too well, but I mean, I'm staying above 50 and I'm really trying to hit that breaking point as early as possible. Unfortunately, there's 2 people playing fighting, which is very bad for me. Okay, we got the antenna. Push a little bit here, and we'll roll and see if we get lucky with our Ralts. There we go. There's the Ralts. And we hold that just in case we get Magearna. Magearnas are not really going to be able to do much. Maybe we could put the items on Magearna. So we could throw Togepi in for healing. I don't know if that's going to stall this comp out any more than it did before. Or if it's better to keep in the Ultra doing a whopping 52 damage. Okay, I mean, this might be a little bit helpful because we're versing ground this round. Alright, can we beat them this time? It's looking pretty good, but the Piloswine's still alive. Piloswine might just nuke my entire board here in a second. Yep, there we go. Unfortunately, we couldn't get through the Piloswine. This is usually how mid-game goes. I don't think it's necessarily like me doing anything incorrectly, it's just my board's not that strong. Which you might say is me playing the game incorrectly, but I'm at 50 gold and I'm pushing for the actual fairy spike at 8. Fairy's not really that strong here right now. So let's take a look at these comps, especially at the bottom here. See, same thing's happening here, and he's got much better units. Did Ponyta already get added? And I haven't seen it yet? Well, that's good for me, right? We're not in the region, but if we get the region, that's perfect. We still have Fire Reroll, and we have Electric 7. With Aleki. We have the Gourmet comp with a baby item, with a shiny item from baby. We have 2 fighting comps, right? 2? Or is it just the 1? I I'm so confused. Oh yeah, we got two fighting comps. All right, we just want a fairy portal. There's a double fairy portal coming this way with Ghost. I don't think anyone was actually playing Ghost this game, so that's not looking likely to be stolen. Perfect. And we should still have decent econ going into level 8. We can roll down to 30 here. And the reason why I want to roll down to 30 is see if I can get any good evos to help us here. If we don't get Xerneas, see, we get Magearna. And we get Cresselia. I'm gonna go Magearna here. Alright, and now we kind of want to roll for Guard of War. Well, not Guard of War, obviously, but another copy of Ralts, if possible. There we go. Okay, we got one. Alright, let's go ahead and itemize the Ralts. This is really rough, obviously, but we're going to try and get through it. And then we'll just go ahead and throw this on our Mawile. This is definitely not the kind of comp that I enjoy having at this stage of the game. Alright, we broke. Let's just roll down this Ponyta. Okay, we'll get Ponyta next round. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh, and that, dang, that other unit would have been great too. We could have had Psychic 4 if we had in the Mime. But yeah, as you can see, we're just getting ran over anyways. So we kind of have to use our gold, or else we lose. That's kind of the harsh part about playing Fairy. Like, your board's either strong or weak. Like, not having Curlia does not help here. Also, I can swap this around here. Alright. We got you. Oh, did I not have 8? I didn't have 8 in, that's why. I hate when that happens. We could do something like this. Okay. So that's 3. Do I need to swap anything else? I mean, this is a really strong unit. I don't know if we want to get rid of it like that. Need a roll. Alright, that's good. Unfortunate. That's an 8th place. That's 7th. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I mean, matchups weren't the best. We had a couple of really good defensive comps here and like the fighting, and then like 3 people playing baby. But at the end of the day, it's on our comp. We just couldn't hit anything good. Mawile, I honestly can't make it work without Abyss items. And then we weren't in a region to hit like a Galarian Ponyta any earlier than we did. And you see, it's either I break Econ early and then I don't hit 8, or I hit 8 and then I'm still losing anyways. That's a really rough situation to be in, honestly. But let me know what you guys think. I don't want to hear dumb I don't want to hear dumb stuff, right? People in the Discord all the time, like, you have the game here. Like, when I just talk about it, you don't have the game. But we're talking about an early game where let's see. I mean, this wasn't like a reroll heavy lobby, right? There was an Infernape Machamp reroll with okay, he didn't hit Poliwrath. He has Poliwhirl, and then this guy also rerolled a 2-cost. So we didn't have that many units that we could have played around for like a reroll comp, but there definitely were people re-rolling. So perhaps that would have been a better angle. Try and get like a reroll going. I mean, we did pretty good early, but it just fell off a cliff late versus like the double fighting comp. And then we started getting out damaged as well by the baby players. Yeah, like this is a comp that we could definitely beat late with Fairy 8. But the fighting comps I don't think I'm beating. I should have just done a full roll down at 8 instead of tried to keep some gold up. That might have been a lot easier for us. And so versus like the special damage, Infernape just got absolutely deleted on the front line. So even if they win, I mean, like this is kind of what's good into the fighting, right? I mean, like, Poly has ground. Ground's gonna get special defense and defenses up. It felt like it was really close until it wasn't when I was fighting him. And then, you know, electric with shiny stone. Dude, like this stuff is crazy. Bug, interesting bug 2 addition there. Just get the ultra in. You have like 5 light ball, shiny stone. Yeah, like that's rough. That's definitely hard competing. But yeah, I'm working on fairy. I like playing it. It's not that I don't feel comfortable with it. It's just like really hard to execute sometimes with these setups. Like, cause there's like there's how many uniques? Like, there's so many uniques in the game. Comfy is obviously the best one, right? So you have Comfy as an option. Plus some Minun are pretty good. Tapu Fini is good. Mimikyu is good. You can't use any of the other Tapus unless you pivot out of Fairy. And then I just don't like the rest of them. I mean, Azelf's good. Yuxi, Mesprit are alright. I'm gonna have to make like a tier list to talk about this. And then obviously I was hoping for a Xerneas legendary, not Magearna. So we were kind of screwed on that as well. We could have gone Cresselia. Cresselia is good for sustain, but our front line, I don't think our front line was the best either. We had only just hit Happiny. So it's really weird. Like, how do I play this with a comp that can definitely like hold normal econ, but unlike ground isn't really as stable in fights? It's very like one-sided in these fights. I mean, like, yeah, I could Aqua Egg on Ralts instead of like the full setup, but you know, it's whatever. Like, items aren't fixing how weak my comp is at level 8. And so I could do some rolling, I could play reroll, but like then I don't hit level 8. Especially if the units aren't already presenting themselves. It's honestly not the best idea to do all that anyways. Alright. Let's see. Baby 7 players are doing good. Polly's doing great. I had a position like this yesterday actually, where we had a artificial and I went for like a steel 4. But again, I'm just not hitting late game boards fast enough, and I'm not quite sure why. Like, it might be obvious if I review this game, but I'm honestly not sure why I can't. So like, I'm not able to hold a strong board mid game because a lot of these units aren't really that great anyways, right? Like, Togetic's not really a carry. Florges is not a carry. Like, Tinkertuff's really good, but it's a melee unit as well, so it's more suited towards maybe like frontlining rather than like full on carrying. But maybe Tink is the way. But full Evo, Ralts, Tinkatink also not likely. The Ultra in Fairy being a defensive Pokemon also might be a detriment to it, because then you're more reliant on your uniques and legendaries. In terms of just stats, right? In terms of just competing with stats, that's a little harder to deal with there, for sure. But yeah, like something like Sylveon obviously would be a good buff to the team's damage. Hitting Popplio can also potentially be a buff. I say potentially because it really just depends. Perhaps it just wasn't a good game for Fairy with the 2 fighting type teams in. Yeah, and then we have like dudes hitting King Gambit. Like, holy cow. So we have like the Baby 7 players first and second place. One of them has like Light 5 Luxio with Regieleki. The other one just has a really strong Dark board with Hatches. Ooh, and then the Rage Crocodile just running through the light team. So yeah, very possible that it just wasn't a good Fairy game lobby-wise with the fighting players and ground, but I'm just not too sure. If I was playing ground, I would know, because I know that ground's countered by steel, poison, Even like Fire Burn is really good into ground because it's all about, you know, shredding those HP bars before they fully stack. But that was the game. Not much else to really analyze there. Should I, like, you know, should I be trying to push for harder boards like mid game maybe, or is the problem just really with the luck? You know, like, am I really just not like hitting strong units to play around? That's the rough part about Fairy, honestly. I'm still thinking about it. Honestly, I'm still thinking about it. It's really rough because there were two people that re-rolled, both of which went into like the 2 pool. How much of that, you know, how much of that matters? You know, like, was that enough for me to do like a full re-roll? I think independently it was fine, but looking at the lobby, maybe I should have tried to roll because there were a lot of 1 and 2 costs taken out of the pool. But Fairy rerolls is also like it. Like the units that I'm going for aren't necessarily carries. Maybe a Zimmeril. I mean, a Zimmeril's not the worst unit. That's why I usually let it hold the items. But not hitting a like backline T10 like Azelf or Klefki or something honestly feels pretty bad. Mawile, we didn't get Mawile items. That just wasn't in the cards. Yeah, not really much else that I think I could have done proactively outside of like maybe trying to roll. But I was also trying to hit a good level 8 so that we can get units like Hypenion. It's just that my comp wasn't that strong this game, unfortunately. And then the baby 7 players getting online, ground fighting being pretty good into me. They have full evos as well. Yeah, it probably just wasn't my game. I'm genuinely trying to think, like, without going into the VOD yet, maybe I'll VOD review this game after, and we'll see. But those are all my thoughts. I'm just kind of going circular. Obviously, I want to hit like the Psychic 4. Maybe I just wasn't paying too much attention to the pool. Because I was late on because the Ponyta wasn't in a fairy region, so it didn't really matter until I saw it on somebody else. But the Mime Junior, when I saw it, I should have picked it up to at least have Psychic 4. But then I'm not itemizing my Psychic units. So, like, how much foresight is that, you know? Like Hatterene with items would have probably been the better bet with Psychic 4 later. And then try and build, like, Fairy 6, Psychic 6. I feel like I should just... I'm thinking about it. Like, if I can add Ponyta, then that's like a guarantee, right? Or if a Mime Junior's in. Because Mr. Mime is actually pretty good with items. Like, those things I should definitely be more wary of. But then it's about, like, trying to backline a Curlia plus one other ranged carry. And then also, you know, like, Fairy is a fairly low defense comp. Based on, like, what items you want to prioritize. You at least want, like, the Punching Glove and Choice Scarf. I like Morello third because, you know, like, ramping attack speed and stuff is great and all. But you can literally just burn on auto attacks. I think it's a pretty good item. I'm gonna have to try out some other builds, but I think I need to just plan that better with T10. Like, if my T10 doesn't go the way I want, I should probably just try and hard force like Fairy 6, Psychic 6 instead of just Fairy 8, and then like Psychic 4 or something like that. But yeah, very interesting game. We did have like a couple of fighting and like ground. Like, I'm gonna be more wary of those matchups because I think those are pretty bad matchups for Fairy. And we'll see what goes on in the review. So thank you for watching. Shout out again to Polly, Zanuani, and Vector. GG's Vector. Good job. Congrats on the win. And until next time, I hope you take care.